Hello, welcome to When Legends Talk, a book by the legend of Savage Machine, the original Mexican metal band from Northern California. Just a word of caution, this book contains topics and scenarios that may be triggering to some people. Discretion advised. Chapter 9 I Am. Dad got a girlfriend who moved in with us and was super nice. I don't recall her name, but I remember she liked playing word games. She was smart. She taught me how to do math, to read, and to write, and was very affectionate. She reminded me of my mom, so I loved having her around. Unfortunately, Dad had one of those episodes where he lost control and beat her up, so she left. Dad got his friend to give us a ride to her hometown to try to get her back, but her brother beat up on my dad. I'm not ashamed to say I got a bit of satisfaction watching that karma come back on him like that. When Dad's friend returned to pick us up, Dad told him what happened, and his friend mocked him the whole way back. I fell asleep in the back of his VW microbus. I woke up when Dad's friend carried me into his house because Dad was already drunk and talking nonsense while licking his wounds. The store didn't last long because Dad's condition was getting worse, so we ended up moving in with Grandma, intending to help make money for us to buy food and such. I went to Dad's friend because he owned a clothing factory in the town. He said he might have an idea for me. The ladies who worked there would give money to a local dude who would go to the store to buy lunch for them, and they would tip him in return. The trouble was that dude would be taking bites out of their lunches and drinking their sodas. Dad's friend introduced me to the ladies, and they all took to me right away. I made so much money on my first day that my pants were falling off from the weight of the tip coins in my pockets. I waddled home proud to show Dad what I had done, but Grandma thought it was only fair that the money goes to her because we did not pay rent or food. Hey, remember I mentioned I made my first adult enemy when I caught a guy stealing money from the till at the store? It just so happens that was the son of Dad's friend, whom we will call Puto. Puto saw me working at the factory the next day and got a friend to help him grab me and carry me into a back room where they tried to rape me. But his friend chickened out and I was able to run away. I never returned to the factory even though the ladies kept asking for me. I did everything I could to avoid being in the presence of Puto from then on. Since the factory job didn't work out, Grandma thought it would be a good idea to send me off to sell tortas, Mexican sandwiches, and was excited to see me return with an empty basket, but was extremely disappointed when I disclosed that I ate them all. Okay, focus. I do remember that I usually ate last. Everyone would eat, and I was allowed to eat whatever was left over. Sometimes that was not much. That's probably why I eat so fast to this day. That didn't work either, so I went to sit at the town plaza and contemplated what else I could do to earn some money. I saw a bus stop and noticed an older gentleman get off the bus who had several large bags that he looked to have a tough time carrying, so I offered to help. He let me carry one of those bags and gave me a tip when we got to his destination. Light bulb. I went back to the bus stop and waited for the next bus, offering my services to anyone who looked like they might need help. A few days later, an older lady at the bus stop asked me if I would help her load her bag onto the bus, so I did. I was not expecting it to be that heavy. It took the both of us to load it onto the bus, but the bus ended up taking off while I was in it. I panicked a little, then began to sing out loud to calm myself, a little pacing up and down the aisle. When I finished the song, a couple of people gave me tips, even though I was not good at all. So I started singing another song. That went on for about an hour until the bus was involved in a collision, causing it to come to a complete stop very quickly. My body did not react that way. I went flying towards the front of the bus and ended up face planting at the passenger side of the dashboard on the bus. I sat and held my nose the rest of the way home. That was the end of that. Soon, Dad was unable to walk on his own. He used a cane on one hand and held on to the back of my neck with the other hand. Dad decided to focus on trying to get better, but also made time to teach me to sing after me asking repeatedly. Sometimes he would take me to parties and have me sing with the band. I was terrible at recognizing start cues in the songs, so he would stand next to me, holding on to the back of my neck, and would tell me when to start singing. He went from walking with the cane to walking with the cane while holding to the back of my neck to being confined in a wheelchair. The store closed and we had to move into Grandma's house. Grandma got to see a side of her son she hadn't seen before. I remember he had one of those moments where he grabbed one of his younger sisters by the hair like he did to Mom, while Grandma and Uncle tried to fight him off. That brought me back to the incident with my mom, so I ran off to the hills and didn't return until the next day. I would do that when he was having those moments. I made a slingshot from a tree branch and hunted rabbits. I used sticks to knock down and eat prickly pears, and I climbed a guamuchil tree to sit on the branches and eat the fruit. One time, I was sitting on a branch eating guamuchiles when I heard a loud pop, so I jumped off and ran away. Once I realized no one was chasing me, I stopped and leaned on a wall to catch my breath. My shoulder hurt, so I reached back there. I thought I had gotten bitten by a beetle since I used to mess with them a lot and had gotten bit a few times before. But when I pulled my hand back, I noticed blood on my hand. I heard the door open and noticed the bread lady. She used to make bread every morning and would give me a bolillo when she saw me. She invited me in, cleaned me up, and while I ate some bread, "Who shot you?" she asked. I had no idea I'd been shot. I just knew she wasn't lying because she showed me the bullet. That was the first time I saw a bullet. But I digest. Uncle had installed some metal tubes that my dad would use to steady himself to get out of his wheelchair to do squats because doctors suggested his condition was due to lack of exercise. He also tried many home remedies, including making bees sting him on the legs because he was told that his nerves were dying and the bee sting would revive the nerves on his legs. I was already insomniac by then, so Dad would sometimes put me on his lap in the wheelchair and roll back and forth to try to get me to sleep. Despite his condition, Grandma would say all kinds of mean shit to the both of us. She would tell me I wasn't worth looking after, that nobody wanted me, that I was a burden, that I just destroyed everything I touched, put extremely nicely, of course. Perhaps that's why other people in the town treated me with the same mentality. to the point where even some of the kids in the town would just randomly kick my ass for no reason. Of course, I grew a mouth on me since no one else was willing to stand up for me, but that just made things worse. There was a group of brothers that seemed to especially enjoy beating up on me until one day I fought back. I still got my ass kicked, but they didn't go away clean anymore. They would knock me down again and again, but I would always get up. Eventually, one of them hit me across the face with something and I passed out. They left me for dead since I had a huge gash above my left eye. I woke up to see the old bread lady putting some white powder on my wound and I passed out again. Don't remember much after that, but that was the beginning of my rebellion. I never ran away from a fight after that and built a reputation, not for being a good fighter, but for not quitting. And, and my mouth grew out of control since I now knew how to defend myself. I heard those insults so much every day that I believed it. I thought I was unworthy of being loved. It took a long time and a lot of self-work to break that mentality. I'm grateful that I've had the right people placed in my life to help me realize that, because it has allowed me to grow and achieve things that I would have never thought possible otherwise.
Now the image is vivid, destruction befalls. Therefore I you said it so much, I almost believe it. Set me away to the depths of the world, to the oceans of grace and lies. And it was so rough, I was never